Scotland too. Feeling very warm in sunnier southeast. It's always raining in Scotland. It's always, always raining in Scotland. So before we turn our attentions to the newspaper headlines here, just to remind you that the phone lines are activated, so you can call or you can send a text message. The number to do so is 0778 793 9958. 0778 793 9958 is the number to call and to share your views. All right, let's see what the newspapers are saying this morning. And let's begin with the Financial Times. The Financial Times saying that Tories attack Johnson over bid to rip up Northern Ireland trade deal. Okay, so looks like Brexit is not going anywhere. Planned changes to the Northern Ireland Protocol leads headlines on Monday. The Financial Times reports Boris Johnson is set to publish a bill that will rip up the plans agreed with the EU. The FT says it has led to accusation from some Tory MPs. He is damaging the UK and everything Conservatives stands for. Okay, this is according to the MPs. And breaking international law. Well, this is nothing new. Boris Johnson breaking international law is nothing new. He done it with his so-called oven-baked ready the Brexit deal. So this is nothing new. I wonder why some of the Conservative MPs are now up in arms. The Northern Ireland Secretary Brandon Lewis insists the bill would fix problems in the protocol, adds the paper. So that is the Financial Times. Let's look at the Guardian. Overriding Northern Irish deal would damage UK investments, warns CBI. Okay, the Guardian says that the Confederation of British Industry is warning the government's threat to override the Northern Ireland Protocol. And I quote them. They're saying it's forcing campaigns to think again about investing in Britain and dragging down the economy, end quote. Its Director General Tony Dunker says global firms are thinking it might not be the time to invest in the UK right now. So that is The Guardian. The Daily Telegraph. European judges to be stripped of protocol powers. This is the Daily Telegraph. The Daily Telegraph leads on the same story, but focuses on the expectation the Prime Minister will aim to stop European judges from having the final say on the Northern Ireland Protocol disputes. Wow. All right, let's look at what the Daily Mail is leading with. New Rwanda flight fars as Patel faces appeals from all 31 migrants due on first plane tomorrow. Will it even take off, they're asking. So this is one of our main topics that we'll be discussing today, the Rwandan issue. Legal immigrants being deported to Rwanda. We'll look at it. And the Home Secretary, Priti Patel. I have a strong view on this particular story. We'll look at it very, very soon. Let's look at the Daily Mail. 1 million kids to go hungry. I think this is to do with the school feeding program. The Mirror splashes on what it calls free school meal scandal. Reporting on 1 million kids are set to go hungry. Boris Johnson is snubbing a plea to extend free school meals in his new strategy for food in England to be announced on Monday, according to the paper. An independent review for the government had recommended ministers extend free school meals to all children in universal credit household. Okay, now the Times has a picture of a soldier. If I'm not mistaken, it's probably a young man who went to Ukraine to fight. Because I heard about this story, who sadly lost his life. But they're leading with the story on universities. Apparently, universities will be forced to reveal foreign investment on the government plans this week to crack down on undue influence, the Times reports. It says University Minister Michelle Donnellan will set out rules requiring them to report financial arrangements over £75,000 with organizations and individuals overseas in a bid to ensure, and I quote, UK values cannot be compromised. The paper says the proposed amendment to higher education bill is against the backdrop of universities accepting money from hostile countries like China and Russia. This is serious. This is interesting because, the so-called superpowers are always looking at ways to make things difficult for respective countries. The Metro leads with death of our hero. Brit killed on Ukraine front line. Death of our hero, says the Metro headlines, is reporting the killing of Jordan Gately, who is 24, in Ukraine. The former British soldier had been fighting in the Ukraine army as a volunteer when he was shot amid fierce fighting against Russians on the front line. So the paper was paying tribute to the fallen soldier. On the Daily Express, nothing off table to crush strike actions. We did mention last week, I think during the course of the show actually, that the RMTU union are looking to go on industrial actions from the 21st of June, 23rd and the 25th. But the Daily Express follows up suggestion from Transport Secretary Grant Shapps that the government could repeal a ban on firms using agency staff to fill in for striking workers. It quotes government sources as saying nothing is off the table, end quote. It comes as railway workers and train drivers prepare to strike this month. I wonder how that's going to work. To get agencies to fill in, I mean, are they qualified? Are they putting people's life at risk? I mean, this is just nonsense, I believe. Well, we'll see what happens because the unions certainly are not backing down. The Sun newspaper, Charles blocks Andy return. Okay, the Duke of York has been banned from appearing in public at Monday's order of Garter ceremony after the Prince of Wales lobbied the Queen. I think Prince Andrews has been banned from public, appearing in public, isn't he? And I think he wants his life back, as some papers have suggested. Okay, let's look at the Daily Star. Drought of order. Drought of order, reports the Daily Star as it splashes on heatwave water alert amid forecast of scorching UK summer. So it's going to get hot. Well, we're looking for that. See how far we go with that. If it's hot one day and then it starts raining the other day, this is the UK. Anything is possible. So that is your newspaper headlines. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, we'll concentrate on a couple of stories. So if you just tune in, make sure you get your questions ready. If you're watching us live on Facebook, do share whilst you're there and also get your questions ready. Let's hear your take. Let's hear your comments. Usually people tend to say they don't like getting involved with politics, but my thing is, if you don't get involved in politics, be rest assured, okay, that whatever decisions are made will have an impact on you. So do get involved, okay? Do get involved in politics. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our discussion. Don't go nowhere. We'll be back shortly.
Deportations Band UK is at 8 again, all my days. And this time around is gonna be bigger than ever. Guess what? They are bringing the maestro, Mr. Music Man, the legendary Kojo Entry. Also performing Keche live in concert, UK, with the Deportations Band UK. This is gonna be happening on the 30th July 2022. DJ on deck, DJ TQ, hosted by Da Force. Venue, Dominion Center 9, the Broadway High Road, Wood Green, N226DS. Tickets available at www.eventbrite.co.uk. This is a must not miss show. See you there. Yeah.
The world as we know it has changed, and so have the issues affecting our community.
COVID-19 and the geopolitical tensions have really made it abundantly clear that the African continent has to do more to be self-sufficient from an industrial capacity point of view.
Join me, Jones Awuah, on GN Breakfast Show as we look at issues affecting us here in the UK, with a close eye on trending stories across the world.
When we invest from the UK into infrastructure in African countries, that it is absolutely transparent.
With a focus on Ghana's social and political issues.
I mean, it's not about you thinking about, your money, the Sikadiabasa is not what our authorities should be thinking about, or officials, but rather they should think about the nation.
The Breakfast Show with Jones Awuah, starting 1st of June from 8 a.m. on GN Radio.
Ghana for you want English approach my muha. Ya swedi. Yenya emrenim fo a won akwadare wo emrenim a poto kasemu ye kase a lawyer for entimi ne no mo yem fa ye immigration ensem nyina enko dan wo mo Fortwell solicitors emrenim akuku draw for se watna ha che ombeboa wo ma wonsa kan wo krata na se wedi edron so a eyom kokokra eba ne nipa sitena mu eni adwuma mu nsem bia omudim akotene pa omo wo mre di mani pa bia na de eni kan wo mu poni se no consultation fee.
Fortwell solicitors always puts our clients' needs first. We specialize in all UK visa applications, detention and deportation cases, student and work points-based work permit applications from both UK and abroad. Fortwell solicitors also deals with long residence and human rights applications outside the immigration rules. Don't wait till last minute. Fortwell solicitors is located at
Unit 1, ground floor, Katrina House, 58 Clarendon Road, London, N80DJ. Nearest tube station, Tempark Lane and Wood Green. Overground, Hornsey Station. Buses, 41 to Archway and 144 to Maswa Hill. For more info, call 0203 3257 030. Call our 24-hour line on 0754 8701 011. Website www.fortwellsolicitors.com.
opening hours Monday to Friday 9:30 to 5:30 p.m.
Thursday beyond so your Milton case.
Fortwell Solicitors is regulated by SRA.
Fortwell Solicitors.
The world as we know it has changed, and so have the issues affecting our community.
COVID-19 and the geopolitical tensions have really made it abundantly clear that the African continent has to do more to be self-sufficient from an industrial capacity point of view.
Join me, Jones Awuah, on GN Breakfast Show as we look at issues affecting us here in the UK, with a close eye on trending stories across the world.
When we invest from the UK into infrastructure in African countries, that it is absolutely transparent.
With a focus on Ghana's social and political issues.
I mean, it's not about you thinking about, your money, the Sikadiabasa is not what our authorities should be thinking about, or officials, but rather they should think about the nation.
The Breakfast Show with Jones Awuah, starting 1st of June from 8 a.m. on GN Radio.
Welcome back. This is GN Radio UK with myself, Jones Awuah. We're streaming live on Facebook too. Crikey, let's make sure we are streaming live on Facebook. Yes, we are. We're live on Facebook. You can listen to the program on TuneIn as well. Don't forget, you can call in about the subject issues that we'll be discussing today. Make sure that you do so. Welcome to our Facebook. People watching us on Facebook. You've seen the topics out there, so make sure you send in your comments, and I will read your comments. I promise you, I will. Whilst you're there, make sure you share as well. You can also listen to GN Radio UK at www.gnradiouk.com. Also on TuneIn, and we're also on all socials. Okay. Our handle is at GN Radio UK, so do make sure you follow us on there, and to keep up with some shows that you've missed in the past. So make sure you do so. Now, I said that what we're going to discuss today, I like the fact that these type of stories, it kind of like we have to look at it from more of a broader perspective as opposed to just pinning it down to one particular country, so to say. I mean, the issue with the UK government, the policy to deport illegal immigrants to Rwanda, whilst the application is being looked at, for instance. I mean, this doesn't just fit one person. It affects everybody. Everyone who tends to come to the UK, it affects you. And also the impact it will have on Rwandans. I remember when this policy was first introduced, myself included, I was fuming because I am an advocate of human rights. I believe individuals, everyone should be treated with dignity. Doesn't matter where you're from. And I'll come back to, the main point, because there's so many layers to this particular policies. And also there's the story which we'll discuss very soon to do with the UK Parliament inviting, according to reports, the UK Parliament have invited the Ghana Parliament because of the LGBTQI bill, which begs the question: is Ghana still under the UK's control? That is a question we're posting. But this whole thing ties in together. When this came out, people were talking about sovereignty and so on and so forth, and states sovereignty, and it all ties in. Now, coming back to the Rwandan case, this has to do with, of course, that there's two arguments to this. Okay, one's that the UK can say is protecting its borders, but that's not the line that they've chosen to project. They're more going along the lines of, we're trying to save these people from criminals, smugglers who've been smuggling them in, leaving them to die on the shores on the English Channel or on the shores of Britain. So the best way for us to treat these people as human beings, fellow human beings, is to ship them to East Africa, Rwanda. And so anyway, I was really, really upset. I was fuming, actually. Upset is an understatement. I was fuming because we saw things unfolded right in front of us. As soon as this policy came, and I think it must have been probably a month or maybe a week or a few weeks, let's say a month for argument's sake. The war in Russia invading Ukraine started. And then what happened? We saw the entire world, particularly the West, actually, and obviously we're here in the UK, flooding with open arms. Let's take them in. Let's accept them. And one begs, the question, what is so different from somebody coming from Ukraine, seeking shelter from a war-torn country, to that of an African or a Syrian or Afghanistan, or you name it. But they're being shipped to Rwanda. People from Ukraine are being accepted here, to the point where the government is even paying people to welcome Ukrainians. And, I have no qualms about it. If, people don't just get up. People do not just get up to make those perilous journeys just for the sake of it. and then to turn them around, to turn around and say that, hey, by the way, we're taking you elsewhere to process your documents. Now, you and I know that is not going to happen. The moment you land on the shores of Rwanda, you're not coming back here. You are not coming back here. Let's not kid ourselves. You're not coming back here. You are not. I mean, let's look at the person in charge, the Home Secretary, Priti Patel. Somebody that was found to have been bullying her staff. Nothing happened to her. Somebody that held meetings with other countries secretly while she was a member of the government. Somebody that believes in capital punishment. This is Priti Patel, by the way. Now, do you think she will send you to Rwanda and then process your documents and then bring you back to the UK? Absolutely not. That is not going to happen. So according to the report, people that are being deported have also, taken the case to court. A number of asylum seekers due to be removed from the UK on the first deportation flight to Rwanda is close to single figures, according to reports. I think initially, the first deportees, there were meant to be, I think, if I'm not mistaken, about 130 of them. But that has dwindled down to about 30 who are said to be deported. Campaigners and migrants last week failed to win an injunction against government's policy in the High Court. But it is thought the number facing being deported to Rwanda's capital, Kigali, is falling rapidly. The Home Office sources told the BBC that the original 37 scheduled to fly to the East African nation, legal challenges relating to the modern slavery and human rights claims have drastically reduced that number. Okay, so that has happened. The first plane is set to take off tomorrow. But one interesting thing about this whole story is that Prince Charles has also waged in. Okay, it has been reported that Prince Charles is saying that the government's policy is appalling, which has caused an uproar in British media, actually. Who the hell is he to comment on government's policy? Because it is within the British Constitution that the monarchy do not get involved, okay, with politics. And obviously you can understand, because in as much as some might argue that that role is more or less ceremonial. However, the Queen is the head of state, and Prince Charles will soon become the king. And of course, his words do carry weight, But isn't it high time that somebody spoke up? Or is it too little too late of any intervention from Prince Charles? So that is the question we're asking today. Feel free to get involved. Let's hear your take. Let's hear your views on this particular story. Soon we'll be joined by Priscilla and Wikbo for us to look at this story. Now, another story that we'll be looking at very, very soon. I just want to give you the gist of what we're about to talk about so you can prepare your mind. Hopefully, I might sway you, or you still hold on to that strong belief that, no, what they're doing is right. This is the right policy, and as such, should be supported. I'll tell you that for now. I won't support anything that Priti Patel tells me. That's for sure. I wouldn't. Nothing against her personally, but I just think her views are very extreme, and sometimes you expect some sort of empathy. When you look at Priti Patel, I see none of that, none whatsoever. Probably the whole Conservative Party. Mind you, I'm not anti-conservative. I have voted for the Conservative Party in the past. I might stress. Okay, I must stress. Now, this is another story which I think needs to be looked at in a broader sense. Again, yes, it's one particular country, but does it affect the way in which the UK deals with other countries as well? The story we're discussing here, I'm about to talk about, is UK Parliament invites MPs, this is Ghana MPs, for a 3-day meeting over anti-gay bill. Now, Some George gets authorities to pull down pro-LGBTQ plus billboards. The minority accuses Anyimadu entry of delaying the passage of anti-gay bill. Okay, so the United Kingdom Parliament has extended an invitation to members of Ghana's Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee to discuss matters relating to the anti-gay bill currently before it. In an interview, the chairman of the committee, Kwame Anyimadu Entry, disclosed that he, together with 4 other members of the committee, will leave the country for this, now quote, for this important meeting on Sunday, which was yesterday. So they left the country yesterday, right? He added that the meeting will be held on Monday, so today, and will last for 3 days, 3-day duration before they return to the country on Wednesday. The invitation came to the speaker, and the speaker forwarded it to the committee. 4 members of the committee, including myself, the ranking member, will be attending this important meeting. Okay, so this is Anyimadu Entry speaking there. Now, I just want to draw your attention to something else, because for anything to be discussed in Parliament here in the UK, you have to get people to sign a petition. If the petition reaches a certain threshold, then yeah, it will be debated in Parliament. And I just want us to quickly look at what it says here. So petitions which reach 100,000 signatures are almost always debated, but we may decide not to. Okay, so for Parliament to talk about this, all right, there must be a petition set in motion by the public. And if it reaches 100,000 signatures, okay, the issue at hand will be discussed in Parliament, or will be debated in Parliament. But on this particular subject, the LGBTQ, all right, there was a petition. The petition has now closed. There was a petition here in the UK. I think some people put together a petition to raise concerns, or to let the British government know that this is what's happening in Ghana and they must interfere, or bring it to their attention, or for it to be debated in Parliament. Now, I will tell you, the petition only gained 308 signatures. The petition, I repeat, only gained 308 signatures, which means that it actually ended before it began. It failed to reach the 100,000 threshold, which is needed before Parliament can debate it. So it's interesting why the UK Parliament sees it fit to invite, or as another newspaper puts it, summon Ghana Parliament over this particular bill. And again, as I did mention, like I said, it ties into everything, right? So here we are. One will ask the question, is Ghana still under the control of Britain? I mean, Ghana's meant to be sovereign, right? Supposedly, Ghana's meant to be a sovereign state. But what does sovereignty actually means? And I've always said this, and some might debate with me, or argue with me, or disagree with me, as a matter of fact, but the facts still remains. And when this story came out, I posted it on my Facebook yesterday, and Sam George, the MP, Ghanaian MP for Pram Pram, also commented on my post. I think his comment was along the lines of, he will never be summoned by the UK government, and he's not part of the team that are coming here to explain what's going on. He will not do it. And a lot of people commend him for that, for his position. Now, I asked the question, what does sovereignty means? I also posted that, listen, we can talk and talk and talk about sovereignty. However, sovereignty means nothing if you don't have the military capabilities to back up your sovereignty. It means nothing. Absolutely nothing, because sovereignty means a nation with a government. The government can do whatever it sees pleases with it, well, provided it's not against human rights, even though we see that, within its borders. All right, so you're a sovereign nation. Now, but does that mean that another country cannot try to get involved or interfere with your domestic politics? Absolutely not. It doesn't. It does not guarantee that. It doesn't. So I keep saying the UK is a powerful nation. Some might argue, but it's still very powerful when you look at its military capabilities. The UK, China, Japan, Germany, Russia, France, the US. These are the superpowers. And the superpowers do intend to interfere with other sovereign nations' affairs. So is Ghana any different? Absolutely not. But now, here's my case. Here's my point of argument. If Ghana, for instance, as a country, had the military capabilities to defend its nation and its borders, I can assure you the UK will not be inviting them over to explain something that, or whatever it is that they're trying to do in their country. In this case, the LGBTQ issue. Now, myself, I was against this new bill anyway, simply because I think the Constitution has already addressed this particular issue. But I think this LGBTQ new bill kind of infringes on the freedom of Ghanaians, And I also take the view that whenever a group of people, especially MPs, lawmakers, decides to rally around or gather and claim that this is against society, this is against society, then you've taken the rights of the individual away. So who knows, maybe 50, 60, 70 years down the line, a group of people might also come together. A group of people, lawmakers, will come together and say, look, this is against society. We don't like this particular tribe. We don't like this thing. And, where would it stop? It wouldn't stop. Already, the Constitution addresses the issue about LGBTQ in Ghana. Whether you agree or disagree, it's already there, It's already there. I think this new bill, for me, I don't think it's right. So that's my stand, my position on this. However, I want to concentrate on why the UK Parliament think they can summon Ghana Parliament to come and explain themselves for this particular bill. This is where the bone of contention is. This is where my issue lies. This is it. And again, and I'll keep repeating it. So many times when it comes, when these type of issues come up, people talk about colonization and how it's still happening. And people will say, no, it's not happening. Or even if it's happening, it appears in new ways, new forms. Listen, the fact that the MPs have honored this invitation says otherwise. So let's just bring it down. Let's say you're in a workplace, for instance, and you're doing your work, right? And your boss calls you. Now, your boss doesn't come to see you. Your boss sends a letter, to your supervisor. So here, the supervisor representing the Speaker of Parliament, and says, I want to have a meeting with you about this particular issue. Now, only your boss can do that, right? Only your boss can do that. So is the UK Parliament still controlling Ghana, or does it control Ghana? What's happened? Can Ghanaians or these MPs or the committee say, listen, this is an internal issue. This is domestic politics, domestic issue. And as such, we don't think we have to come and explain ourselves, because surely when Britain makes its policies or its rules that will affect us or a certain group of people living in Britain. One particular story is what we're discussing today. Illegal immigrants being or forcibly being removed from the UK to Rwanda. You don't hear Ghanaian politicians calling for the UK MPs to come to Ghana Parliament and to defend themselves or to explain why they've taken such action or why they think this policy is the best way to resolve the issue. I don't see it. But the reason why the Britain can do that is simply because Britain is a superpower. Britain is a superpower. Britain is a superpower. Therefore, Britain can summon the MPs to come and explain the LGBTQ bill. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But unfortunately, this is how the world works. This is how it runs. Now, you can sit at home and complain and say, how on earth can they do this to us? We are a sovereign nation. Sovereignty means nothing if you don't have the military capabilities to back it. We've seen it unfold right in front of our eyes with the Ukraine and Russia invading Ukraine. Sovereignty didn't do anything to protect Ukraine. Ukraine is a sovereign nation. It's a sovereign state. But does it have the military capabilities? Absolutely not. It doesn't. So therefore, a superpower like Russia can and will invade if it chooses to. Why do you think the US and the UK decided to invade Iraq? Because they were superpowers. Iraq wasn't a sovereign state. Now, whatever happened, whatever goes on in Iraq, whether you agree or disagree, it's a sovereign state. If we're going down that route, because it's a sovereign state, it cannot be invaded or should not be invaded. Same thing with Libya. The superpowers have the upper hand. Do not be deceived or think you're safe due to the fact that you are a sovereign nation. Sovereignty, it only works if you can back or have the military capabilities to defend your state. That is how you remain sovereign. So, let's just look at this. I know I keep going on. I will get Priscilla online very, very soon. I know I keep going on. But let's just look at this scenario here. If sovereignty protects you, if sovereignty makes you sleep at night peacefully, if sovereignty means another country cannot invade your country, why does the US invest so much in their defense? Why does the US invest so much in the military capabilities? Why does China invest so much in the military capabilities? Why does Russia invest? Why does Britain? Why does France? Why do they? Why? By sovereignty, no one should, because we're all safe, right? We're all safe. By sovereignty, we shouldn't. We should just leave, or we're all living in peace and harmony. We shouldn't. But yet, these guys are. That should tell us something. That should tell us something. So I'm afraid sovereignty will not do nothing to protect you. The superpowers will and can always influence your domestic issues. Unless you're able to defend yourself, then be rest assured that you will be summoned, you will be invited, you will be called to explain yourself, whether you like it or not. You will be. Then you realize the power that your country claimed to possess doesn't mean nothing at all. It does not mean anything at all. It's sad, but that is the truth. That's the, harsh reality of the issue. My name is Jones. Keep your comments coming in. If you're on Facebook, make sure you share. Taking a quick break. When we come back, we'll get Priscilla on the line to discuss this issue. Don't forget, also coming up at 11 o'clock, we have the legal hour here on GN Radio. Don't go nowhere. We're taking a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our discussion.
Deportation UK is at 8 again, oh my days. And this time around is gonna be bigger than ever. Guess what? They are bringing the maestro, Mr. Music Man, the legendary Kojo Entry. Also performing Keche live in concert UK with the Deportation UK. This is gonna be happening on the 30th of July 2022. DJ on deck, DJ TQ, hosted by Da Force. Venue, Dominion Center 9, the Broadway High Road, Wood Green, N2260S. Tickets available at www.eventbrite.co.uk. This is a must not miss show. See you there. Yeah.
The world as we know it has changed, and so have the issues affecting our community.
COVID-19 and the geopolitical tensions have really made it abundantly clear that the African continent has to do more to be self-sufficient from an industrial capacity point of view.
Join me, Jones Awuah, on GN Breakfast Show as we look at issues affecting us here in the UK, with a close eye on trending stories across the world.
When we invest from the UK into infrastructure in African countries, that it is absolutely transparent.
With a focus on Ghana's social and political issues.
I mean, it's not about you thinking about, your money, the Sikadiya Basa. It's not what our authorities should be thinking about, or officials, but rather they should think about the nation.
The Breakfast Show with Jones Awuah, starting 1st of June from 8 a.m. on GN Radio.
Ghana for you want English approach my moha. Ya sweady. Yenya emranimfo a won akwadare wo emranimu a poto kasemu ye kase a lawyer for entimi nuanom momyemfa ye immigration ensem nyina enko dan wo mo fortwell solicitors emranimu akuku drofo se watna ha che ombeboa wo ma wonsa kan won krata na se wedi edro nso a eyo mo kokokra eba ni nipa sitinamu ani adwuma mu nsem bia omudimu akotene pa omo wo mre di mani pa bia na de enika wo mu mponi se no consultation fee.
Fortwell Solicitors always puts our clients' needs first. We specialize in all UK visa applications, detention and deportation cases, student and work points-based work permit applications from both UK and abroad. Fortwell Solicitors also deals with long residence and human rights applications outside the immigration rules. Don't wait till last minute. Fortwell Solicitors is located at
Unit 1, ground floor, Katrina House, 58 Clarendon Road, London, N80DJ. Nearest tube station, Tempark Lane and Wood Green. Overground, Hornsey Station. Buses, 41 to Archway and 144 to Maswell Hill. For more info, call 0203 3257 030. Call our 24-hour line on 0754 8701 011. Website www.fortwellsolicitors.com.
opening hours Monday to Friday 9:30 to 5:30 p.m.
Thursday Beyonce Young Milton Keynes.
Fortwell Solicitors is regulated by SRA.
Fortwell Solicitors.
Welcome back to the program with me, Jones Awuah. It's now 8:53, Monday, 13th of June. If you want to send your messages, you can do so on our Facebook. We're streaming live on Facebook, so you can leave your messages on there, and I will read them out. Okay, if you're on Facebook, whilst you're there, make sure you share as well. So this is what we're discussing today. The deportation of illegal immigrants to Rwanda by the UK government is set to begin. However, Prince Charles has labelled the policy appalling. Is his intervention too late? And then we'll also look at UK Parliament summons Ghana Parliament over LGBTQI bill. Is Ghana Parliament under the UK's Parliament control? That is the questions that we're looking at today. So do get involved. Let's hear your take on this. You can call in 0778 793 9958. Call in. Let's hear your take on this, okay? And let's have a discussion. Because either way, this affects us. It affects all of us, okay? Don't just sit at home and think, oh, let them get on with it. Get on with it, and they will keep getting on with things if we do not get involved as well or discuss these issues, because there are people that this will affect one way or the other. And I think when we have these discussions, it helps us, and I think it informs us better when it comes to voting. And then, you realize who you can vote for. All right, now joining us to discuss this issue is Priscilla Nwikpo. She's a broadcaster and also a political analyst. Priscilla, good morning. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning, Jones. Always a pleasure to be here.
Is it too little too late from Prince Charles to intervene? Because the first batch of deportees are meant to be forcibly removed or sent to Rwanda tomorrow.
I don't think it's too late for him to intervene, and let me say this, that it's actually good to hear something from Prince Charles on this, or if you like, from the royal family. But it's not too late for him to speak up and to say, as he has done, the discomfort in this plan, because what we're seeing here is that the government are not particularly happy with the decisions of the courts at the moment. Mm-hmm. If you recall correctly, I think it was somewhere last year where they were toying around, the government that is, toying around with the idea of being able to reject a decision by the courts, and also toying around with the idea of making new laws that allows them to override, as it were, the decisions of the court. Now, one of the things that have held this country together, as it were, or that has given it the status of being, whether it's the place where people like to come for international, when it comes to laws, where people would rather prefer to have their matters heard in UK courts, is simply because of the status of our judiciary. So we have a government now who are willing, or who are wanting to override whatever the court says when it doesn't suit them. So it's important to hear a voice of, the future king, as it were, to at least say, well, whether in private or in public, private enough for us all to hear about it is fantastic. To say, well, I don't agree with it. As to whether or not it will have the desired impact, or will have the impact that the rest of us will desire, it's a different issue. But at least he has spoken.
Okay, just to remind our listeners that if you're listening to us on the internet or tune in, we're gonna go off in a minute. We're gonna take a break on that side, but on Facebook the conversation continues. All right. So if I were you, I'll quickly switch across to Facebook. I'm sure you can still listen to us. But Priscilla, on the issue of Prince Charles, it is known that usually the monarchy do not get involved with political issues, and the fact that he's in line to become the king of this country might not sit down well with a lot of people in this country.
Oh, you're right about that. We're hearing a lot of broadcasters, for instance, saying things like he needs to keep quiet because it's not his place to speak, and so on. But I think we also have to consider the relevance of the monarchy at some point. Once upon a time, it was probably was okay for the monarchy to exist and not speaking or interfering or having a political voice. But privately, the monarchy has been able to use their power to interfere with, for use of a better word, or negotiate on rules and regulations that favor them better. And they've been able to successfully do that, and nobody's up in arms about it. So I don't understand why, people are suddenly saying if they want to remain. But the monarchy at the moment, they're at a crux now where their existence is a real issue, especially for young people. People are beginning to question and wonder. It's a question that has been going on for a long time, but I think it's fair to say that it's getting louder and louder now, which is, what is their relevance? What do they do for the people? Mm-hmm. There's no point for them to exist if they cannot affect or impact the lives of those that they are supposedly governing over. As it is, the government operates in the name of the Queen.
You're right.
And when Prince Charles becomes king, because he's next in line to the throne, they will do everything in his name. So is he supposed to sit back and sort of accept everything that is being done? I think we need to look at that, because the line there is becoming, there's a huge question about that. What is their impact? But how do the common man benefit? The common man that is paying the taxes that they are effectively living on. How are we all benefiting from their existence? What is it about?
And
so,
I mean, just to add to what we're discussing, Priscilla. Sorry, I interjected there.
No, it's fine.
Of course, it has been reported that Prince Charles is due to travel to Rwanda, Kigali, ahead of Commonwealth meeting, and this is why he made such comment that it is appalling. And some also argue, Priscilla, off the back of what you've just said, to say, look, the monarchy do not get involved with political policies or debates or you name it. They keep their opinions to themselves. However, this is the 21st century. We have 24 hours news. We have social media. Things have changed. Things are not as the way they used to be.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Things have changed. Things are no longer the way they used to be. The monarchy can no longer exist in isolation and, they're over there, they're the monarch. So much has happened, over the years that has drawn much attention to their existence. And we cannot forget or ignore the current conversation either, that a woman that is not so black, as it were, married into the family, and she's literally been chased away and the family has kept silent. That in itself has drawn a lot of attention. They can't afford to keep quiet anymore. Things are not what they used to be anymore. Everybody's online now, and if you are not aware, there are those who have researched, who has found the information, and who are putting them out there. So it's very difficult for them to continue to exist in the way that they have. I understand the point, because obviously the whole idea of the agreement in the first instance was, okay, fair enough, you can be head of state, but you don't have a political voice, you don't have a political involvement. However, they have to sign off on the rules, and everything that is done in Parliament has to be signed off by the monarch. But how long can the monarch continue to sign things off but don't have a say in it? They're completely detached from their subjects. Mm-hmm. So how do we justify that existence? This is the question that people are asking. In the recent Jubilee celebrations, mm-hmm. one of the things that I not only did I have this question personally, but it was interesting to note that I wasn't alone in that thought, which was, what has been the impact of the Queen's 70 years?
Yeah.
Everybody says, oh, she's been on the throne for 70 years. She's very, her calm in nature, her this, her that, or that she said this in her Christmas speech and so on. Beyond that, we can't really, what can we point to as a legacy? Make no mistakes, it's not easy to sit on any throne for 10 minutes, let alone 70 years. So I am not in any way trying to take that away from her, or trying to say that, that in itself is not something. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, yes, 70 years, fantastic. What else was there that accompanies this 70 years?
Yeah. Okay.
What did it mean for her Commonwealth or her subjects here in the UK?
Well, today is interesting, actually, what we're discussing, because I think both stories are interlinked. The UK is seen as a country that believes in, human rights. So we were told to believe. On one hand, the UK Parliament have invited or summoned Ghana's Parliament to come and explain, or at least to discuss, the LGBTQ bill currently in Parliament. Simply because they feel as though the LGBTQ community's rights are being infringed upon. On the other hand, the UK has infringed upon the rights of people to deport them to another country. So this is the how paradoxical it comes across. Oh gosh. But on the issue of the LGBTQ, where the select committee in Ghana have been summoned to come here, Priscilla. I mean, let me get your initial take on this, because when you go online and you type in LGBTQ bill in Ghana, there's so many articles that do not represent Ghana well on the international stage. So your first reaction when you saw this particular story, Priscilla?
Well, when I saw the headline of the Ghanaian parliamentarians being invited to the UK for a chat, I thought, shocking news. Whatever happened to Ghana's sovereignty? Excuse me. My thoughts were immediate, excuse me. I think, so this LGBT situation, the laws, let's rewind back a little to the years of Barack Obama in office. Barack Obama in office is the first president that made the law that pushed for having all of this LGBTQ rights.
Yeah.
He did that because he had promised the community that should they vote for him, that he will ensure that they had the right to be married and so on. And so he decided to take his message across the world. I recall at the time that David Cameron was Prime Minister.
Yeah.
And I recall the conversations that took place here in the Parliament here before that choice was made. I also recall that Barack Obama took this matter to the Kenyan Parliament. You remember when he went to Kenya, I think. He met with the Kenyan president. And the Kenyan president just said it to him very nicely. That's a non-issue for us. You leave that to us. You deal with whatever you want to do in your country, which I thought was just a beautiful, polite, get out of our business. And I wish the Ghanaian legislators will also borrow a leaf from the Kenyan president's book, because Ghana is a sovereign nation. Like you rightly said, Jones, the UK are currently right now rewriting, the human rights law, especially on asylum.
Yes.
Internationally, the first safe country you come to is where you're supposed to claim asylum. Now, they're trying to rewrite that by flying, spending money, taking you out of the first safe country you come to, and sending you to Rwanda. They have no plans, no intentions, no desire of bringing you back here when your matter is processed.
Yeah.
Why are they doing that? But then they feel that they have the right, the hypocrisy to have the right to then dictate to Ghana what Ghana should do. I think that when it comes to the LGBTQ law that Ghana wants to pass, I think we've seen the MP, I think his surname is George.
Sam George.
Yes, he's been on CNN, the BBC, all of that. And at every one of those interviews, he has handled them very well. They have tried very hard to paint Ghana black, to tell the world that, how evil Ghana is for doing this. I think what we need to understand is this. Ghana is a sovereign nation. The Ghanaian parliamentarians have a right to make a law that they feel that that benefits the Ghanaian people. Now, if they have the support of the Ghanaian people in making these laws, that is for them, is for their country. We cannot erase or dismiss or pretend that the sovereignty of the country does not matter on this particular issue. Yes, I know. Well, there are people are going to jump up and say, "Oh, are you then advocating for gay people to be killed?" I've looked at some of I've seen some of the points of how the 6 or 5 years, 5 to 10 years, or 6 to 10 years prison terms that comes with it. Mm-hmm. But we need to separate issues. We need to look at what that law is first and foremost for Ghana and for the Ghanaian people. Mm-hmm. That's for them to deal with. And we also need to look at their sovereignty and the abuse of their sovereignty and the disregard and disrespect for the sovereignty of a nation, which is what this is. I also recall, I think it was was it last year, that the former Speaker of the House, Professor K, I think his name is.
Yeah.
Quay, and he said, he spoke about the fact that the World Bank, for instance, were putting pressure on Ghana to assimilate this homosexuality bill and trying to link it to, development loans. In other words, if you guys do not stop this bill from going through, that's me paraphrasing, it's going to affect the loans that we're giving you from the World Bank. I mean, come on. Come on. Nobody can threaten, these other countries and tell them, if you don't do this, we're not going to give you that. But then they have a right to do the same to a sovereign nation. No, that is unacceptable.
I understand your frustration, Priscilla. And I share your sentiment, but I'm not sure whether you heard me going off on one, ranting as usual, about this position of sovereignty, where I said your sovereignty hinges on your military capabilities, because I don't see the UK, you hear so much about the UK saying, bad things about China or Russia, but you don't hear the UK calling the Russian parliament or the Chinese parliament to come and explain whatever it is that is doing, whether it's right or wrong. I mean, that is subjective. That is up to them. And the notion of sovereignty isn't not you controlling what happens within your borders. And so
it is you controlling what happens within your borders. And that is why I said earlier that I wish these MPs would take a leaf out of the book of the president of Kenya. And not attend. Because it is not for the UK to decide how Ghana chooses to go about this law. That's for Ghana to decide. That's why their parliamentarians were chosen by Ghanaians. Let them decide on that. It's not just about the military capabilities, because as it is now, we are all very familiar that if anything is happening on the continent, it's not as though they're going to jump in to support or to help. They're probably more likely to cause the problems. So Ghana, saying yes to this invitation and going to sit down, I really don't know. We then have to question who these MPs are representing. The sovereignty of the nation is paramount. protecting that is paramount. You know, turning up for this conversation, you're disrespecting the sovereignty of your nation. And I think that these guys need to think about that first and foremost before making that journey.
Priscilla, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Sir Jones. You have a fabulous day.
You too. That was Priscilla Awuah. Priscilla is a broadcaster and also a political analyst. Priscilla has had her say. Let's hear from you. The number is 0778 793 9958. 0778 793 9958 is the number to call. Okay, call in or send your messages. If you're watching us on Facebook, let's hear your take on this particular issue. What do you think is happening here? What should the Ghana Parliament do? I mean, Priscilla said, you know, it's not just about military capabilities, and to a certain degree, I agree. However, I think, you know, being sovereign doesn't stop anything. Your sovereignty doesn't help you in any shape or form. And recently, I did an interview with the UK's Minister to Africa, and you know, they are in the process of signing new trade deals with Ghana. So I wonder if they fail to honor this particular invitation, that might have had any significant impact on the trade deals between Ghana and the UK. I don't know. I do not know. However, this is not one of the cases where you have to leave your country and fly to come to the parliament. I mean, it's comical. Let's face it. It is comical. It is comical. It's unheard of. Absolutely. And this sets precedents. Because in the eyes of the international community, Ghana is a stable country. We've had successive change of power without any uprising or anything that would tell the world otherwise. Ghana is a hot place, for holidays, a destination. Ghana has positioned itself as the gateway to Africa. It's easy to make, as the Minister of Africa said, the UK Minister of Africa said to me, it's easy to do business in Ghana. Now, in Ghana's attempt to appeal to the international community, has it lost its marbles or its backbone? This is unheard of. It's absolutely unheard of, and it's hard to comprehend why, they would honor this invitation. Tell them to do one. Tell them to move on, jog on, move on. Move on. Ghana is capable. And it brings back the question, can the black man handle his own affairs without being subjugated, without being controlled? And however they would like to spin this as being invited or being asked, the fact of the matter is they've shown their displeasure to the bill, and you've been summoned. You have been. You have to go and explain why. You don't need to explain. I mean, come on. Did they really need to make that journey? You could have easily sent a statement. Easily made a statement. I don't really think it's about the bill no more in this particular case. It's just more to do with the relationship between both nations. And if we all claim to be Commonwealth, and as a sovereign nation with great relationships, so they say, then you don't interfere. I don't interfere in your business. You don't interfere in my business. The law is clear in Ghana. Even though I must say I don't agree with this bill, the fact that they'll have to leave Ghana to come to Parliament here to explain themselves just bothers me. It's just, It's beyond anyone's comprehension. So my question is, why will they honor this particular invitation? Why? Why would they? Why would the Ghana government honor this? Why? What did they lose? What did they gain? What did they lose from this? What did they gain? What? That Ghana is a good country, that it listens. They need to come and tell us exactly why they decided to honor this particular invitation, because I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm yet to see when Britain will be called to the European Courts of Parliament. Oh, snap. They won't, because they're not part of the EU anymore. Oh, the US will call the UK Parliament to go to Congress and to explain why immigrants are forcibly being removed from the UK and being sent to Rwanda, or why they voted for Brexit. Oh, let's stick with the Rwanda one, because that is targeting specific communities, specific groups. So it's the same as this LGBTQ bill. You know, they say it's targeting a specific group. And I get it. It does. So does this immigration laws, this policy. It does. But yet, Britain feels the need to do so, and can no one challenge Britain. But when another country looks to pass a bill, internal issues, Britain feels the need to interfere and to ask questions. Gosh, I thought we had moved on from that. I thought that was the end. I mean, there is obviously, you know, colonization still happens, but in different forms, but not so blatantly. Do you know what this says to me? As a Ghanaian, as an African, as a Ghanaian, and being part of the minority groups here in the UK, is we tell you what to do. You're not sovereign. Your sovereignty means absolutely nothing. It means nothing. It absolutely means nothing. All right, let me take a few text messages. Some messages have been coming in. Let's hear what people have been saying. Excuse me. And let's see if they agree or disagree. And I think by consensus, I can probably see which direction people will be going, particularly here in this country. So the question we asked, let me just put the question out there again. If you just tune in, right? If you just tune in, the UK Parliament have summoned Ghana Parliament, have invited or summoned because of the LGBTQI bill. So they need to come and explain what's going on in Ghana. So the question I'm asking is Ghana Parliament under the UK's Parliament control? What do you think? What do you think? All right, this is from James. James is saying, Jones, I think nothing has changed. Nothing will change. I agree with what you said. Sovereignty hinges on your military capabilities. No one can dictate to you. No one can get involved with your internal affairs. I agree, James. I agree, because the way that the world is run, unfortunately, we need to be realistic, not idealistic, realistic, okay, about how things are done. If we look at Ukraine, for instance, the fact that Ukraine is a sovereign nation, could not defend herself when Russia wanted to invade. And they keep telling us about sovereignty. Okay, when I say they, the UK, the US, Germany, well, United Nations, all right, they keep telling us about sovereignty. If your sovereignty protects you and you don't have to answer to anyone outside your jurisdiction, then why the heavy investment in acquiring arms, in building missiles that can destroy or wipe us all off the face of the planet? Why? There's a reason for it. And the reason is the world is in chaos. The world is a place of anarchy. Now, when I say that, I don't mean, we're all fighting, but the global political system, meaning that there's no one person who is seen as the police or somebody that the country that's policing the entire world. So, for instance, if two countries have an issue, then, you go to the big police and say, look, I don't like what this country is doing. No, everybody's protecting their interest and protecting themselves. It's every man for himself, every woman for herself within the global political structure. So if you don't defend yourself, be rest assured that somebody somewhere, who knows, we might have another Hitler who has an ideology and has the capabilities to just come down your country, or you have something that they rely on, they depend on, and take whatever it is that they want. And you can't do nothing because you can't match them. And that's how the world is run, unfortunately. But this is what happens. And we've seen it with Iraq. We've seen it with Afghanistan. We've seen it with Russia recently. We have. When it comes to the issue of sovereignty, it's tricky. It is really, really tricky. And if you sit idle and think that your sovereignty will protect you, then you'll be taken by surprise. You will be. Now, I've got a few messages that I will read again. I'm taking a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more. And I've seen that a couple of people want to call. They've sent me messages that they want to call. So we'll try and get them on the line as well. Because this story is not going anywhere. We'll be back shortly.
Deportations UK is at 8 again, all my days. And this time around is gonna be bigger than ever. Guess what? They are bringing the maestro, Mr. Music Man, the legendary Kojo Entry. Also performing Keche live in concert UK with the Deportations UK. This is gonna be happening on the 30th July 2022. DJ on deck, DJ TQ, hosted by Da Force. Venue, Dominion Center 9, the Broadway High Road, Wood Green, N226DS. Tickets available at www.eventbrite.co.uk. This is a must not miss show. See you there. Yeah.
The world as we know it has changed, and so have the issues affecting our community.
COVID-19 and the geopolitical tensions have really made it abundantly clear that the African continent has to do more to be self-sufficient from an industrial capacity point of view.
Join me, Jones Awuah, on GN Breakfast Show as we look at issues affecting us here in the UK, with a close eye on trending stories across the world.
When we invest from the UK into infrastructure in African countries, that it is absolutely transparent.
With a focus on Ghana's social and political issues.
I mean, it's not about you thinking about, your money, the Sikadiebasa is not what our authorities should be thinking about, or officials, but rather they should think about the nation.
The Breakfast Show with Jones Awuah, starting 1st of June from 8 a.m. on GN Radio.
Servicing Band UK is at 8 again. Oh my days.
Become
and
a
this time around is
successful
gonna be bigger
entrepreneur
than
with
ever.
Jackie
Guess what?
and her
They are
professional
bringing the
team.
maestro.
Become a successful
Mr. Music Man,
entrepreneur.
the
And as a
legendary called
base,
Joe
only a
Andrew.
team of
Also
professional
performing
teachers
Kete
of
live in
economics,
concert,
marketing,
UK, with the Division Band, UK.
so
This is gonna be happening on the 30th of July,
from a youth
2022.
graduate
DJ
and a
on
school
deck,
leaver.
DJ
That's all
TQ,
person
hosted
we
by
get
the
entrepreneur.
Venue,
More contact
Dominion
base.
Center now, the
Entrepreneur
Broadway
not just say,
High Road,
Obia wow
NT2
business.
50S.
If you are
Tickets
but person
available
in a professional way to say, Oprah Winfrey, and Ayaya Papa, Kwame
This is a must not
Despite.
miss
Base,
show.
with Mama,
See
Sa
that.
Diano Abim, one of your experts, our coaching and a mentoring. And as all person will start our business, base for better how our UBC expand our business and as existing customer base. Base provides support in business plans, step-by-step finance applications, and marketing strategies. Base or become a successful entrepreneur also provide entrepreneurship skills through vision and determination. Some more per free consultation for Base
073 99 867 417. I repeat, 073 99 867 417.
And also one more email address info@becomeasuccess.co.uk. Website www.becomeasuccess.co.uk. Mokokwa mobetimi make bookings for an appointment. Base and I said become a successful entrepreneur. Let's turn your vision into a reality.
Welcome back to the show. My name is Jones Awuah, and this is GN Morning Breakfast Show. We're streaming live on Facebook as well, so keep your thoughts and comments coming in on Facebook. And I'll read your messages out. Make sure whilst you're there, you share, okay? You share as well. If you want to call in, the number is 0778 793 9958. 0778 793 9958. If you just tune in, what we're discussing is Prince Charles, okay, has decided to get involved with the illegal migrants being deported to Rwanda. He's been reported to have said it is appalling. And then also, the other topic we're discussing is UK Parliament summons Ghana Parliament over LGBTQI bill. So the question I'm asking is Ghana Parliament under the UK's Parliament's control? It may appear so. Get involved. Let's hear your take on this, all right? Let's hear your take on this. Let's hear how you feel about these particular stories. Let's go on the phone to speak to Mr. Kit Yorsin, UK chairman for the Progressive People's Party, a Ghanaian as well. Mr. Yorsin, thank you very much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Let me hear your take, your initial reaction when you read the article.
Yes, good morning to all listeners. The question of sending asylum seekers to Rwanda is a very serious one. What we need to address is that why are these people coming for asylum in the first place? Interestingly, those asylum seekers who risk their lives on boats or canoes from Libya, Mediterranean seas, trying to get into Europe, in all parts of the world.
Mm-hmm.
It's very alarming because we have to find out why. And in fact, the British government has got a lot of information about these people. Number one, we need to ask the type or the countries from which these people come. I know there are Syrians or other Arabs and all that come in, but I'm particularly interested in the Africans who are on the boats and trying to come to UK or the rest of Europe. The question we must address, or we are seeking, my party, Progressive People's Party, is seeking to address is why on earth would Africans, especially West Africans, jump on those boats and try to reach Europe? It means there's a rotten situation in the country of Ghana, of Nigeria, of Somalia, all these African countries. There are rotten administrations taking place there. The people are not happy. They have no jobs. Some are not even, they are starving. Frustrating. Because these people, we've been going to Ghana or each other time, I see people who are happy, who don't even want to come to Britain for 1 week. I meet people like that. And I know, if my own private or personal experience, I know so many people who come to London for about 3 years and go back. That means they're wealthy people or the self-made people. They haven't got a problem. But what about the poor ones? The poor ones is in the interest of the Progressive People's Party. Because if the poorest human being in Ghana is happy, then Ghana is a good place. But if there's so many poor people in dire straits in Ghana, then our government, whether NDC or NPP, have not answered the question. They have not honored the promise of saving all of us in Ghana, or managing the country properly. These are the questions we have to address. Forget about, of course, yes, we would take those people to Rwanda. British government has given them £200 million, proper and better accommodation there.
But that money is for Rwanda, not the refugees.
Yes, for Rwanda. Yeah, to make sure that Rwanda has got places set up. They are just waiting for the recruit to recruit those who are going to live there. They have worked with the Rwandan government. When these people come, they are not just coming to sleep in their bed seats.
Are you suggesting, Mr. Yosin, that this policy, you're in favor of this policy?
Would you say that again? Say committee?
Are you in favor of this policy?
Of course, yes, absolutely. Of course, yes, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with it at all. I mean, people are making noises. Absolutely. Anybody who's got a bit of a gray matter in his head, well, come on. Why would a Ghanaian or a Nigerian get on the boat, risk his life, come into Europe because he wants to come to UK? Or because he wants to go to Germany or Spain? Why should they not go to the airport, get a passport and go? It's telling you that the freedom which African countries have taken from the European, the white masters, we should return the freedom back to them, because we fought for independence in Ghana. Kwame Nkrumah and Buzia and J.B. Danko, all of them. I'm not going to say Nkrumah is the only one who fought for independence for Ghana, because one person cannot fight against himself. We had competition with other political parties to win. When we won power, Nkrumah had a great idea of making Ghana a better place. NPP has come to Ghana to destroy everything. Now the people are saying, fix the country. Can they not listen? Can they not hear? Now they are stealing, the government of NPP is stealing from the people of Ghana. We cannot complain because we are not in parliament. I just
want to bring you back to what you said about you being in favor of this particular policy of illegal immigrants being shipped out to Rwanda.
Yeah.
Is it not Britain's obligation to help those who are in need, people who are fleeing from war, persecution, people from war-torn countries, people who are making these perilous journeys, for Britain to give them a place, because Britain is known as the leader of democracy in the world, and also a country that adheres to human rights.
Well, thank you very much. That treaty signed with the other countries involved. Yeah, so we must honor that treaty. People in distress who are being chased out of their homes, for instance, the Ukraine war. If Ghana is facing a war like Ukraine, if Nigeria is facing a war like Ukraine, Somalia and all that, then yes, of course, yes. Of course, yes. Let us give them the chance to come in here. But right now, there's no war in Ghana. There's only starvation in Ghana. There's poverty, abject poverty in Ghana. That's not an excuse, for jumping on the boats, risking. So many people die on the boats, we don't know them. That's not an excuse to risk your life just to come to UK. And how many UK people have got on the boats to come to Ghana? Why not? They are also human beings. Are we trying to tell the white man that is better than the black man? And when they say so to the black man gets angry. We say, because we are blacks, of course, yes. How many white people, how many English people, the real questions, I hope Nana Akufo-Addo is listening. How many English human beings have gotten on the boat without passports and tried to come to seek asylum in Ghana? Maybe God will laugh at that one because it's highly unlikely and absolutely impossible.
Well, some might also argue that many of these refugees are coming from war-torn countries that were instigated by Britain.
Thank you. War-torn countries, then the United Nations must come down and crush those people who are creating the situation. Must come and remove the governments whose countries are being war-torn. War-torn for what? So they crush the people who are fighting and take over, take back Ghana, take back Nigeria, take back whatever, Chad. Then we are talking serious business. The international community must crash down. The United Nations armed forces must go to war-torn countries that cannot handle or manage themselves. Crush them and take back, recolonize these countries.
Mr. Yossi, hold on, because I totally disagree with what you're saying, by the way.
Why not? Why should there be a war-torn? For instance, Ghana, there's no war in Ghana. And the Ghanaians jump on the boat to go to UK, telling the UK people or the white people that there's war in Ghana. There's no war in Ghana. It's only starvation in Ghana. We can understand. That is what we must address.
Well, Mr. Yossi, and that leads us to our next question about, the LGBTQI issue. Some Ghanaians might end up making a perilous journey to the UK, where they might try to claim asylum, saying that they've been persecuted for their sexual preferences. And isn't that something that's happening in Ghana?
For purposes of clarification, please let the people know what the LGBTQ is. People who are listening to the radio, they don't understand it. What does it stand for? So
lesbian, bisexual, gay, queer, plus, meaning, because according to them, gender is fluidity. Gender is not just male and female.
Yes, thank you very much for this clarification. Let's face one point. Lesbian or bisexual or gay
transgender,
yes, this is another culture of Ghana. That lesbian, it means that a woman sleeping with a woman, a man sleeping with a man, or a man sleeping with a dog or a cat or a monkey. It's just their private business. It shouldn't be an affair to be discussed in Ghana because Ghanaian problems are more than LGBTQ, all this nonsense. It is not African. It is not Ghanaian. We don't want to know. We don't want to know whatever you do in your bedroom as individuals. We don't care. But if you make it public, it is un-African. It is sad. It's the independence that Nkrumah and Co fought for, they didn't fight independence along the lines of LGBT.
Mr. Yosef, let me play the devil's advocate here, because you said it is un-African. What is un-African? Even, one may argue that even the suit you're wearing is un-African. One may argue that the music you're listening to is un-African. Some may argue the television you're watching is un-African. Some may argue that watching the other shows in America or eating burger is un-African. So how do you quantify that, Mr. Yosef?
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, we all belong to culture and tradition. If we come from a basic village in Ghana, how many people do you see men sleeping with men and women sleeping with men? It's not our culture. It's not our tradition. It's a borrowed culture from this part of the world, I mean, the white world or developed world. We know that. It's just borrowed culture. But if all Ghanaians were LGBTQ, no human being will ever be born. Let's just get the facts straight. If a man sleeps with a woman, no children will be born. If a dog sleeps, a man sleeps with a man, no children will be born. Ghana would have been an extinct place. We would all died. You wouldn't even, myself, I wouldn't be born if my father was a gay or my mother was a lesbian. How can you produce kids if you say you are lesbian, serious gay? You will never born a human being, bring a human being to this world. But God says, multiply. God has mandated, has designed the human being.
I mean, Mr. Yosef, I get it. You're pro procreation, but then at the same time, you have people that identify themselves as this. Let me just break this down for you. Let me just explain a little bit. Please just let me explain this a little bit. And I think this is what I was saying from my initial argument, because we talk about sovereignty, and we'll come to this very soon. This is to do with the UK Parliament inviting the Ghana Parliament to come and explain what the LGBTQ bill is all about, and where I don't know what they're going to discuss, but it looks as if the UK don't like it because it infringes on the rights of the LGBTQ community in Ghana. But one thing for sure, as a sovereign nation, you protect what's within your border. However, we have seen that as we've become, due to globalization, as we've become more interconnected, things do cross border. Globalization, people traveling all over the place. And what has transpired is the fact that there are certain things that governments cannot control. We've seen with pandemic. Pandemic didn't care about who was controlling this border or that border. It was able to move across. And so is homosexuality or LGBTQ. It has no boundaries. It knows no borders. We can rest assured that whatever country, even the most religious faith, the most religious countries, there is a community within that country. And such citizens also need to be protected. The Constitution needs to protect them. So the point I'm trying to make is the fact that is un-African is not enough to disregard the rights of these individuals.
I think I stand on my strongest point that it is not our culture to be gays or lesbian, but it's a private and personal matter. If somebody is gay, we don't want to know. Ghana, we've got better and more serious problems. Look at the infrastructure that we need to put in place. Look at the flooding that has come to Ghana. We can't survive because of surviving. No civil engineers can correct this, create sensible drainage for us to be free from flooding. The last thing we want to talk about is LGBTQ. We don't really care about them. If they choose to be so, that's fine. It's their private business. They will find that their families are extinct within 50 or 30 years. If a human being calls himself, want to sleep with a fellow man, you will never have a kid. You will grow to be 100 years each, no kid between them, and their descendants will be wiped off the face of the earth. I'm a Christian, but I'm not going to use Christianity in this, but a pure common sense that is it real for a man to go to bed with a man? What for? Is that what God created us for? Or you want to change our rules? Or you want to challenge God? Okay. Let's do so.
But Mr. Yosin,
those who are interested in changing the rules, they should change and let's see. They will never get anywhere.
All right, that's fine. But obviously, that's your religious beliefs. Okay, what about the person that does
not even religion? It's just a fact of life. This is what I'm asking. All those LGBT, whatever people, can a woman sleep with a woman to have a child? No. A woman must sleep with a man to have a child, and therefore they are not gays. People are saying this because in Africans, when Africans come into UK, say, "Oh, I'm LGBTQ," and they are chasing me from my village, and they have a passport here. In the end, they go and marry proper man or woman.
Well, I must say, allegedly, because we haven't seen anything as such. But carry on.
You sure? I know people like that. I know people like that. We can bring them on live on television. They come here as LGBT lesbians. In the end, they come to their proper senses and marry a woman and marry a man and to have children. And they come in just because of passport. It's creating all the problems. The problem is the Ghana government, as an example. It's misruling the country. The government itself is stealing from the country.
All right, let me just move you on just quickly on the fact that Ghana Parliament have been invited or summoned by the UK Parliament about this particular bill. What does that tell you?
Yeah, it tells me that the government is not in the right order. It's not operating effectively. Mr. Mugabe said it, that Africans, or somebody said that for African governments, they pray for disaster to happen and the white man bring money into Africa. Look at the pandemic that came. We looked up to Britain and the United Nations to bring us money. Why should they bring us money? Why did Ghana government not give money to UK, Germany and all that because of the pandemic? African man is always begging. The African man is always begging. So the problems we have is a pandemic, and LGTB itself has been even a pandemic on its own. If you use that, you can get a passport to go to Europe.
Mr. Yosin, thank you very much for your time this morning. For time's sake, we have to end it here because people are also trying to call. Thank you very much.
Anytime.
Thank you. That was Mr. Yosin, Kit Yosin there, sharing his views. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Do you agree or disagree with Mr. Yosin? I totally disagree with Mr. Yosin. I get where he's coming from. Many Ghanaians share his views, but I disagree with Mr. Yosin. Simply because, look, I mean, whether people claim asylum, claim to be, whatever they may claim to come to this country is neither here nor there, I think. All right, because it is clear that if you identify yourself as such, then, the law is clear. And this bill does seem to tighten up the law. It does seem to tighten up the law. But I just want us to really focus on what this means. The fact that the UK government can summon or invite the Ghana Parliament to come here as a result of this particular bill. This is what I want us to discuss. This is what I want you to call in. This is what I want to hear your views on. Not necessarily about the LGBTQ, but the relationship between Britain and Ghana with this particular case where Britain, having the UK Parliament, said, come here. Come here. Come and explain what is going on. Because clearly, the LGBT community in Ghana, LGBTQ community in Ghana, feels as though their rights have been infringed upon. But I don't really want us to concentrate on that because I'm sure whatever happens to the bill or whatever happens, we will come to that. We will talk about it. We've discussed it already. Soon I'll be switching up. I've got just under 8 minutes before we bring the show to an end. So do call in. Let's hear your take on this particular story. For me, it says a lot about the relationship. It says a lot about sovereignty. And I will keep banging on about sovereignty. You're only as sovereign as, how powerful you are. If you think that you're sovereign and the fact that you have a government, a function government, that makes you sovereign, then I think you're gonna have another thing coming. Because when push comes to shove, what will happen? These superpowers, and the only superpowers because of economically they're more powerful. Military, they're very powerful. They have influence in the world. And when I talk about these particular, when I mention these things, I'm sure you can conclude as to what countries I'm referring to here. We've seen it happening. It's actually happening now with the war with Ukraine and Russia, Russia's invasion of Ukraine. We've seen it. It's happening. Let me hear your take. You can call in 0778 793 9958. Call in now so I can hear what you think. Let's take a few messages, and this is from Michael. Michael is saying, Jones, Mr. Yorson is actually is funny. It's rather unfortunate to be in the West, to be in Britain and still hold such views. Those views are very old-fashioned. And I think, even though I think we have to call it out, even though I don't subscribe to LGBTQ, we must admit it, that it is here, it exists, and we must face this. Okay, so that's from Michael. Somebody is also saying that Mr. Yorson needs to tone down because there are people listening who will be offended by what he's saying. Okay. All right, I'll come back to that story. But let's take another call. Hello? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Mr. Kofi Ali, how are you doing, sir?
I'm not very bad, and how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. What would you like to say? Because we're really, really pushed for time here. Okay. For some reason, the line has just dropped. Kofi, you can call once again, all right? You can call in. You can call in once again. For some reason, the phone line just dropped. I know Kofi will have a lot to say. Okay. Kofi, let's hear you. Good morning, Kofi. Can you position yourself properly? Because we're struggling to hear you. Your line is very bad. Okay. We will continue whilst Kofi tries to, we're trying to get Kofi on a better line. Yeah, so as I was saying, there are a lot of people that share the same view as Mr. Yorson within the community, and we have to be honest about it. And we have to also give the platform for people to be able to air their views. So we see both sides. We can't just come here and just present to you like there's one particular way and this is the way that we ought to go. I don't think we do ourselves any justice if we go down that trajectory. All right? I don't think it will help our case in any shape or form. Let's take this from Nana Kwame. Nana Kwame is saying that, Jones, this is happening in Ghana. We mustn't bury our head in the sand to act as if it doesn't exist. It does exist. As far as I'm concerned, they have their rights. They are Ghanaians, and as such, they must be protected. Okay, Kofi, thank you for joining us. What would you like to say?
Oh, yes. I've been following the discussion.
Yeah.
And it's very unfortunate on all sides, the way we're looking at these problems.
Mm-hmm.
And good morning to my brother Kitiosin as well. I've been listening to him.
Mm-hmm.
And the definition of war,
mm-hmm.
it's a bit skewed. In even our own local languages, they say life is war. Is that not true?
Mm-hmm.
If life is war, anything you are doing, actually you are fighting war to survive.
Yeah.
In the course of fighting your war to survive, there are so many type of wars. It's not only when you are using gun to be shooting yourself that we say you are fighting. For someone to say there is no war in Ghana, and therefore Ghanaians don't have to go to do anything anywhere. It is unfortunate. When you sleep outside, the mosquitoes eat you from morning to throughout the night and you can't sleep. Is that not a war? Do you need somebody to put a nuclear bomb on you before you say you are fighting?
I think in
Mr.
Yossi's defense, I think he was talking about conventional war.
The conventional war, when you are going to farm, it's a war. When we say conventional war, is it the war people use knife to put into their own stomach, or they use the gun?
So you're talking about individual war within society. That's what you're talking about, Kofi.
Also, tribal war is not a conventional war.
Well, no. I don't want us to, just to move around, because I want you to talk, Kofi, because we're really pushed for time. So if you could,
Why I'm doing this thing is that line of argument has made a mess of the fate of those who are desperate to go to somewhere else to give themselves a chance.
Yeah.
Whether it's economic or political or tribal or whatever. Like you see, you can hear that in the course of your discussion. Even the LGBT thing is coming in. If they are not being persecuted directly or indirectly, right?
Yeah.
Will they be running away?
No, they won't.
So people can move to somewhere from where they feel they are uncomfortable. If you have some sickness and you know in future that sickness can kill you and you want to leave, what is wrong in picking your bag and going to the society where you can get that privilege?
Absolutely. Just to let our listeners know, we're moving, if you're listening to us on radio, we're bringing the show to an end, but the conversation carries on Facebook. So from radio, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll do it tomorrow again, talking about issues affecting us. So make sure you stay tuned. But the conversation continues on our Facebook. Kofi, we're listening.
Now, let us take it to they are deporting people to Rwanda.
Yes.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
It is very easy for you to also hear that the United Nations, the very convention, some people say they are following. Those who don't realize that the war you see in some places is because of the comfort people here are living. Are we not here when they were telling us about the billions of weapons they were selling to the Middle East, who have money to buy it? Didn't Mr. Trump go and sell weapons 300 and something billion when he won the election?
Mm-hmm.
Have we forgotten? Didn't we see when the British got, I think the Ayamama something contract, Airbus or something contract with the Saudi where they were selling weapons to them? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Is that not the same weapon that gets into people's hands and they are killing themselves?
Mm-hmm.
Is that not the cause of the war?
Of course, even in Yemen.
So what are we talking about here? When people in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Ghana, in everywhere, in Nigeria, they are running away. All of us are talking about global warming, are we not?
Yeah.
Are we not talking about environmental degradation?
Yeah.
Are we not talking about people's habitat that has been destroyed because there is a pressure on natural resources to move?
Yeah.
Are we not talking about Galamsey?
Mm-hmm.
Is Galamsey creating good water? Let us connect things in a more mature way so that we can see. I am here today not because of anything. I am a refugee. There's no definition for that word. There's the one somebody has stolen his government money and is running away to go and hide in a country where he has put almost 20 billion in their account and going to hide that because they are looking for him to catch him. Is that the one you call refugee? Who is refugee? Everyone is refugee. Everyone is a refugee. Can you see? In fact, the founding fathers of America who migrated from Europe to go to America, they're all refugees.
Yes. There's no one. Well,
what are we talking about?
Unless you're a Native American.
Even they became refugees because they started killing all of them.
Yeah.
So let us understand. I have my problem. My problem is that where the world is going, it's no more a global. It's no more a village. It's not a global village.
Absolutely.
There is nowhere for anyone to hide in one bush and say, oh, we are keeping our culture and we are protecting ourselves and we are doing our tradition. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that.
Okay.
Everywhere you go to now, there is electricity. And if there's electricity, they'll be telling you. Why do you think children go to school in those villages? Because they want to get out of that ignorance.
All right, Kofi, we'll end it here. Thank you very much for calling. Let's do it again tomorrow, Kofi.
Thank you very much. We'll talk again. It's really frustrating. the way we talk about this problem, sometimes we are just beating about the bush.
All
The
right.
problem is before us.
Okay, Kofi, thank you very much. So that was Kofi Ali also calling in to share his views. You can do the same as well. We'll be doing it again tomorrow. Okay? We'll be doing it again tomorrow from 8 a.m. on GN Radio UK. My name is Jones Awuah. We're done for another day. All being well, I'll see you tomorrow. Whatever it is that you're doing, look after yourself and stay safe. Catch you tomorrow. Coming up next is Abinel Solicitors. We're bringing you the legal hour here. We'll be back shortly.